Hey guys, I'm Paul the Motor Guy. Now in this video, I'm going to talk about the U-turn from a stop exercise. Now this is a great exercise for working on the friction zone and working on keeping the handlebars turned as you're making your U-turns. So in this video, I'm going to break down each step of this exercise. So hang tight. Now the first step, and I recommend this because I think it makes it easier when you're making your turns, is you want to put the foot down in the direction that you're turning. So if I'm going to the left, I have my left foot down, my right foot will be up. If I'm going to the right, my right foot will be down and my left foot will be up. By doing this, it'll get the motorcycle in a more natural position when you're making your turns. And it'll also naturally tighten up your turns. Now I'm going to get on the bike and I'm going to show you what this means. All right guys, so I'm going to demonstrate why I think it's easier if you put the foot down in the direction that you're going as opposed to the opposite foot. All right, so I'm on the bike. Now let's say I'm gonna go to the left. So I'm gonna turn the handlebars to the left. Now I'm gonna put my left foot down because I'm going to the left. My right foot be up. Watch what happens to the motorcycle when I do this. See how it already has a natural lean in the direction I'm going? So just by that alone, it makes it a little more natural, and it also is gonna already tighten up your turn before you even start because you have a lean to it. Now all I'm gonna do from here is change my foot to the opposite way, all right? That's all I'm gonna do. I want you to watch the bike. Now see how it's already pointing in the opposite direction I wanna go? So now it makes it a little more challenging because I'm already fighting the bike from the beginning. So let me show you the other way. If I'm going to the right, if I have my right foot down, my left foot up, see the bike has a natural lean already? All I'm gonna do again is change my foot position. And now the motorcycle is leaning in the opposite direction. Now the next step is you want to turn the handlebars to full lock in the direction that you're turning. Now if you're not comfortable turning your handlebars to full lock, start where you're comfortable and then work towards that. Now next is your head and eyes. Now you want to turn your head and look back as far behind you as you can in the direction that you're going to turn. So if I'm going to the left, I want to turn my head fully behind me and look back as far as I can. The further you look, it will help you keep the handlebars turned throughout your turn. Now, if you tend to turn your head and then as you start to turn, you look more like over here to your left, then that's going to make you go wide. Because remember, the handlebars tend to want to follow your head and your eyes. So now let's talk about the throttle. Now for the throttle, you want to have a little RPM set prior to you getting into the friction zone. By doing this, when you get into the friction zone and the bike starts to move, it's going to make the bike more stable. It's not going to have that quick dip as you start to move. That is because you already have power stored up, ready to be transferred to the rear wheel. Now, as far as a certain amount of RPMs you have to have stored up, that really doesn't matter. Just have a little bit of RPM stored up. So now we have all those other steps completed. The next step, let's talk about the friction zone. So now you want to release the clutch lever to the friction zone until the bike starts to move. And then you want to hold it there throughout the whole turn until the motorcycle is upright again. Because remember, whenever the bike is leaning over, you have to have power to the rear wheel. So now that you're in the friction zone and the bike is starting to move, now you want to control your speed. Because remember, speed equals radius. So if you let too much clutch out too fast, the handlebars will want to straighten out, and that's going to make you go wide. So one way you can control your speed is by using the rear brake. Now the notch I give for the rear brake is you want to have just enough brake pressure on the rear brake that you can feel the brake drag and engage, but you don't want to crush the egg. Because if you push too hard on the rear brake, then it's going to make the motorcycle want to come up out of the lane, which we don't want. So now let's say I'm in my turn and I'm starting to go wide, either because I let too much clutch out too fast, or let's say my handlebars are starting to straighten out. So then I can apply the rear brake, take the speed off the motorcycle will lean more, and that will naturally tighten up my turn. So now that we're in our turn, we do not want to lean with the motorcycle, which is what a lot of us want to do. We want to use the counterweighting technique, meaning you want to let the bike lean underneath you and let the upper body lean a little bit to the high side of the motorcycle. Now you don't have to have a lot of movement to the high side. Now, one of the things that counterweighting does, as opposed to leaning with the motorcycle, is it takes away some of the sensation of falling. So let me explain. So if I lean with the motorcycle, you see how my riding changes, and now my depth perception of the ground changes, and that spooks us. And it makes us put in the clutch, put our foot down, all those things. But by counterweighting and also keeping my head and eyes up level with the horizon, it takes away some of that sensation of falling. So now I'm going to get on the bike, and I'm going to demo this thing for you. All right, guys, so first I'm gonna go step by step with the motorcycle off, just kind of walk you through it. That way you can hear me a little bit better with the engine off, and then I'm gonna ride this thing for you. All right, so the first thing you wanna do is, let's say I'm going to the left, okay? I wanna turn the handlebars to full lock. Now again, if you're not comfortable with full lock, just turn them as far as you're comfortable with, and then you can work yourself up to full lock. So from here, I'm gonna turn my head, my eyes look behind me where I wanna go. Then I'm gonna give a little bit of throttle. You want a little bit of RPM stored up. That way that as I release the clutch to the friction zone and the bike starts to move and I put my foot up, you won't have that quick dip of the motorcycle because I already have power to rear wheel. All right, from here, I'm gonna release the clutch lever to the friction zone. As the bike starts to move, I'm gonna pick my foot up, okay? And now from there, if I'm going wide, let's say I let a little too much clutch out, or for some reason I'm going wide, you can use the rear brake, you can drag the rear brake to take speed off the motorcycle, which will tighten up your turn, make your turn tighter. Now you can also use the counterweighing technique as well. You definitely don't wanna lean with the motorcycle. You can stay straight up if you want, but if you wanna have a little movement to the high side with your upper body, as you're making your turn, you can use the counterweighing technique as well. That's gonna take away some sensation of falling. Now you're gonna use these same steps and techniques if you're going to the right as well. So now guys, I'm gonna go ahead and ride this thing for you. Now this is a great exercise to add to your practice routine. I still do this exercise today. Now I really hope you got something from this video, and please keep me posted on your progress. Now, until next time, you got it guys. Practice, 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 and ride safe.